Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Ceice here, and today I'm bringing you guys a brand new video. In this video, I'm going to be going over how you can get best drop at any POI in the map. This is going to be an all-in-one video, and if you've never had good drops, if you've always had off-spawn trouble, this is going to be the video for you. If you guys know the video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and let's jump right into it.
Ceice and elevate, Ceice and elevate.
Why is no one talking about Ceice?
Absolutely amazing play from Ceice.
This is Ceice we're talking about.
Ceice, however, the highest rated eliminator in any of the skirmishes and tournaments.
Okay, so going with the drop maps, right? You're going to probably want to know how to get the best drops. How do you actually get best drops for the drop map? So this site is called Landing Tutorial, and basically it's as simple as it shows, right? So it's like if you pick the bus path that you want, right? You can literally switch the direction by clicking this middle one. You can move it up, down, whatever you want, right? You just go into a game. I would suggest the way I do it is I get a duo and you just go into an arena custom or a squad custom, or you can even play like literally arena, just a straight arena duo game. And you just basically have one person pick out the best drop based off of this. So let's just say for this example, I want to go Coliseum, right? And I want to land right here on the south side. So I'm going to mark it like that. You just scroll in, click on wherever you want to land, add best drop. It's going to tell me the best drop based off this bus, which should be right here. So this will show the absolute best drop for Colossal on the south side. Now, keep in mind that this is not extremely accurate. This gives you an idea of where you should land. But with this one, I would say, well, based off of my map here, the road is the best drop. So I would probably pull your glider like right here in between these two roads or on the road. So it's like, it shows you that's a little bit south of there, but it's not always correct. And especially on ones where you might want to stretch super far, just know that like, it's not always going to be like the absolute best drop, but it gives you an idea of exactly what you'd want. With that being said, Landing Tutorial is a great site. I mean, it's something that like I said, I use, and I try to have one person use it, and the other person just uses their own like intuition, and they decide where they think the best drop should be based off of Landing Tutorial. So if you're going into a POI that you've never landed at, right? Like let's just say Holly, for example. I've never landed Holly before. I'm going to have one person go on here with this bus path. We're going to land right there. I'm going to zoom in right here. I'm going to be like, okay, if I've never landed here, I'm going to try to land on this road instead of landing on the street. So it's like, you just try to find those opposite angles that are still in line that you might think from this. You might want to jump out here and pull your glider right here at this house. So it's just like, there's other things that you can do to make it that way it's the most accurate. And that is, in my opinion, how you make these drop maps the most accurate. That's how I've made them for all three of these, and that's how I make them for every POI that I go to. It's worked for me, and it's going to work for you. These are the, like I said, these are the absolute best drops. And by the way, I'll put all three of these maps in the description. So if you already want a starting point and you don't know where to land, you have one for Coliseum, you have one for Lazy, and you have one for Weeping. So right here, you already have 3 drop maps made, and there's only a couple more POIs, and you guys can do that yourself. So that's Landing Tutorial, and that's basically how you get best drop at a POI. Okay, so the next thing is when you're uncontested because you killed the guys off spawn, right? How do you loot the POI the fastest? How do you decide who goes where and what and who loots what, right? And from me, from an outside standpoint, I've never landed Holly in my life. I've never looted here, but I'm going to show you guys the breakdown of how you should loot a POI and how you should think about looting it. So obviously the pretty simple thing is to, split the chest spawns up evenly. Try to make sure that one player doesn't have too many than the other. That's like the basic starting point, right? Basic starting point. You're going to want to make sure that every chest spawn's split up. So for Holly in specific, you're going to want to have one person loot this corner. One person grabs main, grabs all this, right? And the other person grabs this back right here. If you're just grabbing Holly in itself, right? That makes the most sense. But past that, it's basically just doing those routes and getting those houses in the quickest way. So it's like for Holly, for example, the zones are most likely going to go to this center area. They're going to go to the right? So you're going to want to end your route around here, right? You're going to want to end your route around this area. You're going to want to have a car ready to go. So if a player is landing here, looting all of this, he might land here, work his way up here, then work his way down, get this, grab the car here, boom, he has the car. The other teammate is going to work his way here, up to here, and be done farming his mats in here or whatever it is, right? Grabbing a car, ready to go there. So you're going to want the central point to be there. So, like I said, third player, boom, 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 boom. Very simple. Like literally super simple stuff. So that's how you decide how to loot the POI the fastest. And then it's also just about timing. I would say that if you are playing in stacked games and you're going to have it uncontested, because I think we all know that if you are contested, you're going to be a little bit slow on the rotates and you're not always going to have the fastest ways out. unless it's a 50-50 drop spot and you can just kill him right off the rip. But for this example, yeah, you're gonna want to basically just try it out. You're gonna have to just play the games, and if you have to, go into an arena game by yourself or a custom, whatever it is, and just start landing here and just start figuring out the fastest ways to loot the POI. Like I said, without any in-game like footage or without any in-game gameplay, it's kind of hard to get the absolute best drops for the specific example, but this will give you the idea of what you need to be doing and what you need to look for when you're like basing out your team and getting everything as efficient as possible. Okay, so the last thing I want to add here is that in a lot of POIs, and let's just think of Holly for an example, right? You don't have to necessarily get max mats, and I'm just talking about more so like stacked games. I wouldn't say in like first game cash cups that you're gonna have to worry about this, but in these stacked games, you have a lot of rotate loot. So if you guys can see here in Holly, if you leave Holly early enough, if you really wanted extra loot, if you need that extra loot, you can go out here, grab all this and this. So that means basically, I mean, you have a car, you have the vehicles, and you're just gonna need to basically find the mats that you can get past the POI. So when you're in a car here, you know there's 2 god bricks right here that are gonna give you around 300 brick right there. You know there's some pallets in here, so you know by leaving the POI without max brick, you can get that somewhere else in an easier way, because in Holly you're going to basically be farming out the walls or the floors of these very small brick pieces. And like I said, I am not the most educated in Holly, so this is just an example, but you can do this with literally any POI. So like Sweaty, you could be farming up 5-5-3, and then you rotate towards here and get the metal from the kitchen or the car on the outside or whatever, right? So you can base your POI and you can be faster by getting mats elsewhere. And this is more common in pro game customs than it is anywhere else. So it's like if you're landing Holly and you know you need Surge really bad, you'll leave really early, grab this, and then on your way to Tilted for Surge, let's just say that you go to Tilted for your Storm Surge, you set up top of here. Think about all the brick that you can get on this rotational position. So it's like every POI has its spots that it can take. So let's just say another example, Sweaty most commonly can grab this house every single time. If you watch any Sweaty teams in the zone pulls in a center area, they'll always grab this house or they'll grab somewhere near it. So it's like you have to figure that out for your own POI, but basically just look at what mats can you get off spawn, what are you struggling with mats wise, and then where can you get that for a refarm while you're also getting in a good position for Storm Surge. So it's like that's basically the last tip, is just don't really stress about getting max mats out of a POI when you can get your mats elsewhere while being in a good position for Storm Surge. So I can go on and show hundreds of examples of what each POI would be and where you would rotate to get refarm. And that's what I did in the lazy video, showing you guys exactly where you should be going for refarm. But you guys can watch that. That'll be also linked in the description if you haven't seen that already. Definitely check that out. That gives you a full guide on how to play lazy. But past that, I mean, this is the most basic and short guide on how to drop and how to figure out the fastest way to loot a POI and the most efficient way just off the top of your head. So now you know all this knowledge going into the games. And I expect you guys to be winning these off spawn fights and getting out of the POI in a speedy fashion. So all right, so that's basically it. In this video, I basically explained how you guys can get best drops at any POI. Like I said before, I'm gonna have all 3 of these drop maps linked in the description below, as well as a link to the lazy video. If you guys haven't seen that already, please be sure to check that out. And I'll have a link to this as well, landing tutorial. But yeah, I mean, you guys are basically gonna be masters at getting best drops at any POI. And just be patient with it and practice your drops. That's going to be the most important thing wherever you decide to land. You can't really go into a tournament unprepared, so just be prepared and be patient, and that's all the tips I have for you. Thank you guys though. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys later.